Pandarosh present. Spoiled Rotten by Mohamed Elagoza, Part 4. Despite Mustafa's resistance, the Bedouin woman pulled him into the light. Suddenly, Mustafa found himself wearing very strange clothes with a long beard. Fear, horror, and tension gripped the situation. Mountains and deserts surrounded him. With silence dominating the area, only the sound of the wind could be heard. A large cave lay ahead of Mustafa. He began calling out.
Is anyone here? Hello?
Hey, Mustafa! You came!
Inside the cave, he found a woman with a massive body and harsh voice. She demanded that Mustafa go hunting and bring food for her and her son.
Go right now to hunt some meat! Come on, lazy! My son wants to eat! Or they gonna eat you, baby! Come on, hurry up! And don't forget my love! If you didn't get the hunt, I will hang you in front of the cave!
Mustafa was overwhelmed with astonishment and shock. He hurriedly left, frightened and confused.
By God's sake, who is this woman? She's towering at 2 meters tall. Everything about her is massive. Her attire barely fits her. Her unsettling features and disheveled hair are discomforting.
Thoughts raced through his mind, his memory foggy, barely recalling his name and a few things clearly.
Where am I? And why am I married to this woman and have a child with her too? And why do I speak like this? She's so unbearable and her smell is so fucking bad.
An hour passed and Mustafa walked in the sun around the mountain, unsure of what to do in this barren desert. In the midst of this still atmosphere, Mustafa heard a noise behind the rock. It was a rabbit. Mustafa's only savior. He successfully caught the rabbit. Mustafa returned to the cave with the rabbit. The woman of the cave began cleaning it, discarding its gut and fur onto Mustafa to dispose of outside the cave. After they ate, the woman ordered Mustafa to stay and pick gunk out of her hair. The words fell on Mustafa like a shockwave. He couldn't move his legs, as if his blood had frozen in his veins. How could he touch her disgusting head and even pick stuff from it? Initially, Mustafa refused, but she threatened to devour him, so he had to execute her orders. A night of darkness. Sleep doesn't know the way to his eyes. He remembers the Bedouin woman taking him to a different world. The sure things for him was that he doesn't belong here. And in the next morning, Mustafa left the cave before the woman woke up. After a while, without knowing how much time has passed, he looks ahead to see a man on the horizon. The man is dressed in ragged leather clothes, his hair and beard neatly trimmed. He looks like someone of authority. Mustafa notices the man's beautiful jacket and asks him about it.
Howdy, partner. Where did you get that beautiful jacket?
It was made by a man named Homu, who specialized in clothes and red nights. People visit him under the pretext of getting their clothes repaired when they want to unwind.
Mustafa asks for Homew's address. The man begins to describe the location. Without any distinctive signs or boundaries, Mustafa follows the description with intense focus. After a considerable walk, he successfully reaches the location and meets Homew. Homew understood that Mustafa seeks to spend the red night and takes food from him in exchange, instructing him to return in the evening. Exhausted and tired, Mustafa seeks shade under a tree and falls into a deep sleep. He wakes up shortly before sunset, heading towards Homew at the appointed time. To his surprise, he found a playful woman. The strange thing is, the woman looks like Malika. The night passes, and in the next morning, Mustafa leaves. On his way, he hears the distant roar of a lion.
Oh God! What do I do now? The lion is approaching and is going to attack me! No! No!
Mustafa wakes up to find himself still in his hotel room. He discovers that everything he saw was just a disturbing nightmare caused by the cigarette he had taken from Dina. After a few moments of silence, Mustafa looks out of his room window, holding a cup of coffee. He recalls everything in his memory. Taking a deep breath, he decides to shower and then head downstairs to meet his friends. While he is sitting with his friends, he receives a call from Professor Murad, his boss, who asks him to cut short his vacation and return to Cairo today for urgent work. Murad mentions that if Mustafa can't come, Malika will handle the work instead. However, Mustafa decides that he will return because Malika is busy with wedding arrangements. Quickly, Mustafa packs his bags and books the first flight to Cairo. Meanwhile, despite months having passed since their separation, Talia still remembers the last words exchanged between her and Mustafa, accusing her of negligence.
Was he really right? Was I neglecting him?
Talia, to find out the truth of the matter, took positive steps to seek answers. Ultimately, it became clear that her love for Mustafa hadn't extinguished. She felt that the decision to divorce had been hasty, made at a time when she was under pressure from all sides. Consequently, she started seeing a specialist in family relationships and enrolled in an online course with a marriage counselor to determine where things went wrong. However, they all agreed on one thing, that she had come to them too late. The problems between her and Mustafa had solutions and could have yielded positive results, but this was all before the divorce. Through these meetings, Talia identified her issues, confronted them, and began to work on resolving them. Talia wanted to reconcile with Mustafa and was contemplating how to communicate this desire to him. Reaching out to get news about him was just the beginning of the journey. All that remained was choosing the right person for the task. Talia decided to talk to Ahmed, Mustafa's colleague at the office. She spoke to him.
Hey Ahmed, how are you? I want to reconcile with Mustafa, and I feel like that our divorce was rushed, especially with a child between us.
I'm sorry, Talia, but Mustafa is going to marry Malika. The news hit Talia like a thunderbolt. She couldn't believe what was happening. A complete collapse, a new wave of shock overwhelming her. The sound of her crying and her inner dialogue filled the room. Mustafa's quick engagement after their separation confirmed to Talia that there might have been a relationship between him and Malika before she divorced him. Salma, her loyal friend, became her sole refuge. Talia called her.
Mustafa is going to marry Malika.
Hey, don't be sad. Don't be sad. Don't cry. Forget about Mustafa and focus on your life, work, and your son.
Mustafa arrived from Sharm el-Sheikh for work in Cairo. Before entering the building, he encountered a beggar asking for help, but he paid no attention and continued on his way. As Mustafa went up the building's stair, he recalled the beggar's voice and noticed it was the same as the Bedouin woman's. Hurriedly, he rushed back downstairs, but couldn't find her. Disappointed, he returned to his office. Professor Murad assigned him to review a crucial case file. The office was quiet, providing a suitable atmosphere to call Malika. Their conversation was filled with flirtation and romance, but he didn't mention that he had returned to Cairo to surprise her. Hours passed. It was now 8 p.m. Mustafa finished his work and headed to Malika's house to give her the surprise. On his way, he bought a cake to celebrate with her. Mustafa grew anxious as Malika didn't answer her phone multiple times, trying again. She finally picked up and explained she had been doing a hair treatment, leaving her phone in another room and missing his calls. Mustafa ended the call without revealing he was on his way to her, determined to surprise her under any circumstances. At the entrance of the building, Mustafa holds the lotus caramel cake that Malika loves dearly. Excitement fills him for the moment of reunion. Mustafa quietly opens the door and tiptoes his way to the bedroom.
Malika? What's this? Why? Why? I'm going to kill you! I am going to kill you!
See you in the next part of Excessive Petting. Voice acting Adham Arbi, Mariam Hani. Translation Adham Mahmoud. Editing Mariam Hani. Art direction Ali Saeed. Sound engineering Tamer Yahya. International distribution Sandos Tamer. General supervision Wael Atta. Production manager Rasha Yahya. Narrating and directing Khalid Mahgoob. Best regards with Pandarosh.